Who are these people?
Tell you something, brother!
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people?
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude.
Dude. Welcome to this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm your host, Angel Rivera, alongside Miss.Witchy Perfect and Snow Himbo this week. How are we doing?
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on?
I just received some breaking news. As I just tweeted out, Joe Biden has died.
One can only hope.
Yeah.
He was found in bed with Donald Trump.
Ew.
Anyway, that's my intro. How are you guys coping with the rise of fascism that has
Trust me,
in?
already there, already done it. You know, it really, and as I have been saying for the past couple of weeks, literally in chats, of course, in kids' chats, that literally it didn't matter who got the White House. Us poors are literally going to own nothing, be happy, and eat sea bugs. It doesn't matter who goes in. And like Indy said, literally Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame for a reason. It was all kabuki theater, all pro wrestling there.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling this to Miss Witchy Angel. We all need to convince every liberal we know that the election was stolen. This has to happen. We have to convince everybody the election was stolen because I need a January 6th shitlib edition to happen. I need this to happen.
I did hear about their planned protests in January in Washington. So it's like, it said January 18th, though, which is weeks after, they certified the election. But
maybe they all have to get their boosters first. Probably.
Oh, bam. Yeah, aren't you on your 11th?
Hey, Indy's here.
Hi, Indy.
BBC voters here.
Who is Indy?
Who
is this guy named Indy?
I don't understand. Can someone explain?
Please give us a like if you haven't already. And we're talking about the new president of the United States, Donald Trump. Donald Trump has Steph just brought up, he has a connection to Vince McMahon and the WWE, particularly their Hall of Fame. As you just said, he was inducted in there years ago. And we didn't get a chance to talk about it last night because there's so many. We had to unpack so many things. I couldn't even get to everything. That's how much time. That's how much things we had to talk about. But yeah, no, I'm not sure. I assume people know by now, but there's a transition team. Donald Trump is transitioning. Having his transition team meet with the White House. And the people leading his transition team are Howard Lutnick, who's the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, who's a financial service company, and Linda McMahon. Yes, that
Linda
Linda
McMahon.
McMahon, the wife of Vince McMahon. So it's like
Hmm.
they're leading the transition team.
You heard it here, folks. Donald Trump is transitioning.
Into what we don't know. Maybe a fur baby. You don't know. A furry. Not fur baby. Furry.
Can you imagine if he just showed up in a furry costume?
Ah, come on.
He didn't even explain it. He just showed up like that.
I said it.
Be like in 4 years of just the meme president. I'm sorry though, I don't know if anything's gonna beat Joe Biden in terms of comedic value.
I know, right?
I'm going to miss every time he went to give an announcement. I was there like, oh god, yeah. What are we saying today, Joe?
Tyrannosaurus Rex arms.
Yeah, the little T-Rex arms, and he just like, and I'm like,
and yet you understood that, right?
Beautiful. Thank you, Joe. That was.
I wouldn't be surprised if Trump showed up and go rough, 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 rough. You got that?
So, yeah, Linda McMahon is in charge of policy for the transition team. So it's like
policy for what?
What are her? I gotta look this up. What are her qualifications exactly?
She's Vince McMahon's wife.
Ever since she left the WWE, she's been in Republican politics.
Yeah, here's her.
Pretty much.
Here is her. If I had a $1 bill, I would give it to her. But here's her qualifications.
McMahon served in Trump's first administration as the head of Small Business Administration, 2017-2019.
And Vince McMahon is not a small business.
Well, she claims the WWF was a small business in 1982. So
1982.
Yeah, that's why she's a small business.
Like these two super rich people.
Because I was gonna say, Angel, you and I weren't around in '82.
That's Linda McMahon's claim to experience on that. Why she took over the Small Business Administration. It's like, well,
wow.
I built a small business into a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So it's. And
I mean,
she
fair.
Remained,
yeah. Wow. Okay.
She's remained on the board chair of America First Policy Institute, a think tank formed by former Trump allies after his 2020 loss.
I'm sorry, is someone being tortured to death in the background?
The dog.
Oh, okay.
The dog howling.
Like what in the world is that?
A think tank formed where you're living. Oh, I was thinking for a second. I was like, "Is that? Do you have a liberal neighbor? Is that sound?"
Oh, zing!
Are they just like, yeah?
It's that. I'm sorry. It's a dog.
It's okay.
I'm gonna say it is a liberal. Guys, sorry about the liberal in the background.
Yeah. A think tank formed by Trump allies been quietly preparing for a second term. McMahon was one of the forces behind World Wrestling Entertainment, a small business to multi-billion-dollar corporation. Personal friend of Trump, she ran twice unsuccessfully for the Senate and Connecticut. McMahon's done much work in initial policy planning for the Trump second administration, including drafting more than 100 proposed executive actions. So I guarantee you Trump's going to sign most of them, if not all of them.
Yeah.
McMahon
she's a part of that? So she's actually part of the executive orders? Like she helps with that?
Well, she's a part of a thing. She created a think tank.
Do you think he's even gonna look at any of them before he signs them, or just
probably not? No, just sign on the dotted line, Mr. Trump. That's what the rich want him to do.
She's a part of a think tank. She created a think tank which drafted these executive orders for Trump to sign if he got reelected.
Oh, perfect. No, nothing wrong with that. That looks totally on board.
Yeah.
Here, Trump, just sign on the dotted line. What does it say? It doesn't matter. Just sign.
It's expected that Linda McMahon would take over the Commerce Department under Trump administration, so that's the role that she wants, apparently. So
right, and literally because she's a billionaire, or I mean, let's face it, she is the wife of Vince McMahon, so she's not going to have none of these executive I can't even talk. Executive orders are going to be for poor people. Let's just say that out loud. Poor people, you're still fucked.
No.
Okay.
So
you might be considerably more fucked, to be honest. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at the whole tariff thing, but that's
Linda's gonna help him with that.
Okay. I have two theories, and with Trump, you never know. It could be unbelievably dumb, and he doesn't know what a tariff is. Possible. Also, though, it could be a massive upward transfer of wealth, because essentially the businesses get hit with the cost for the tariff, and then they pass it down to the consumer. So it's more money from the consumer is going up into the businesses, and also to line the coffers of the state. So once again, like we saw with a certain event that I'm gonna just assume everybody knows what I'm talking about, it's probably going to be a very large upward wealth transfer.
Absolutely, and it always has been. It was the first time when Trump was in office and said he was going to do tariffs. And like I said, and I've been saying this in chats, I've been saying it to you, Angel, I've been saying it to anyone who will listen, that literally it's the poor people who pay for tariffs. We pay for everything. The rich pay for nothing. They just sit there on their asses all day and just go, made another million. How about you, Muffy?
Now, again, I will say, like, it's entirely possible also that this just this just doesn't pan out. Like, they don't figure out how to do it.
I hope not.
It's all just smoke.
It's not going to pass the Senate. There's zero chance. I mean, it's slow. It's a bureaucracy for a reason. The chances that they get rid of income tax and just do tariffs is not going to happen. But the reason
I can't see Republicans being on board with that to begin with. That's a really tall order.
Yeah, the reason why I bring up McMahon is because I want to speculate if Donald Trump will at some point pardon Vince McMahon for his crimes.
Yeah, because he's being investigated.
For the I just told you her name, Janelle Grant thing.
Yeah. So allegedly,
he's under criminal investigation for that.
For alleged crimes.
That in New York Attorney General's office.
Right. So, and I said this to Angel earlier. I was like, I don't know. I mean, they went after him the first time, and yeah, they had a weak case against him. But I mean, Vince is rich. They don't put rich people in jail unless you screw over other rich people.
Well, the thing too is like I'm curious about the optics of that, because he spent like unlimited capital and like harnessed this whole like right wing like propaganda apparatus, this whole massive media apparatus, which Whitney Webb has a good list of like all of the
oh yeah I love her.
Yeah, I do too. He spent all of this capital like getting everyone to think he's the anti-establishment guy, and if he turns around and pardons a billionaire for being objectively dog shit, I don't know how that's gonna look image wise.
Perfectly
because
put.
I mean
yeah,
I mean MAGA, you know, they're like, say what you want about the Trump supporters, and I often do. I love making fun of them almost as much as liberals.
Yeah, really.
But at the end of the day, like, you take a quick glance at the things Vince McMahon's on the hook for. I can't see the average Trump supporter being like, "Oh yeah, he should be pardoned." I don't know if he'll do it. He might, just because of like class loyalty and how close he is with McMahon and Linda and all that. But
I'd say pretty close.
It seems like a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, well, but I mean, if you think about it, Linda's on Trump's cabinet, or she was in Trump's cabinet the first 4 years. So I mean, I just don't see Trump, biting the hand that feeds him. I'm sure that I'm sure that Vince gave, if Linda didn't, then Vince gave a substantial amount. I mean, someone can look that up. I'm sure you can find Vince McMahon's name or Linda McMahon's name that gave money to the Trump campaign.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does pardon him at some point in his presidency, because Trump can't run for re-election anyways. And he's not going to really care about what the future Republican Party is after him. So it's like he's going to be a deeply unpopular president within 2 or 4 years anyway. So just like he was after his first term. So he's not going to really care whether he's popular or not, if the party's popular or not once he leaves office. So yeah, we're very likely to have a Democrat in 2028 anyway. So unless there's a Republican out there who can somehow win, but that's far
and not
too late.
to right. Well, and like I was saying last night, Snow doesn't know this, but like I was saying last night, it just seems like, okay, so Trump did really poorly with COVID, so they put in a Democrat. So the Democrat was very poorly. The prices were bad. All these illegals. You can go down the list of what Democrats screwed up on. Now they think they punished the Dems, and now they put in a Republican. You see the cycle here. So they're literally punishing. They think they're punishing the other the team that, like, let's say the Dems. They think they are punishing the Dems by getting a Republican. No, you are getting the different side of a same coin. The Republicans and the Democrats are one party. They don't give a fuck about you. So again, you're putting in Democrats and Republicans, which is the same. It's the same thing.
I mean, at the end of the day,
they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have my vote. I'm gonna vote against the Dems." Yeah, the Dems going, "Ha ha ha! You stupid idiots."
Exactly. They get 4 years of making total bank. They can run against Orange Man bad. They can anyone who's out, they get speaking deals. They're joining the resistance and all that. And at the end of the day, like, they're not changing anything. What, you think Trump's going to be good on Israel? Because I got $100 million that tells you you're probably wrong.
I mean, look what he just did with RFK Jr. Did you see that, Snow? I actually literally posted it from Whitney Webb.
Hey, David. Hopefully you can pop in at some point.
On my channel, Whitney Webb said, I can give you a lot of reasons why Trump is going to be bad. He literally just told RFK Jr., the transition team told RFK Jr., guess what? You're not in charge of anything. Haha, bye-bye. You're in charge of data that
I gotta say
has already been approved for these vaccines.
Yeah, I gotta say that was a brilliant psyop. The whole RFK thing. Because that did, hear me out, what that did, because there were a lot of people who were pissed at Trump for how he handled COVID and a bunch of other stuff.
Yep.
And they had a bunch of people who were pissed at Biden for how he handled COVID and a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
RFK comes in and he goes, yeah, I hear you. I hear your concerns. I share them. I have a worm in my head, but just kidding.
Yeah,
I don't know why I said
kidding.
that.
I don't know why I said that.
By the way, I had a whale head on the car, whale juice. That's something a normal person should say. Anyway, but then he gathers all these people, right? He galvanizes this big force of people who wouldn't have supported. I don't think a lot of these people would have voted at all, to be honest, or they probably would have voted third party in some.
Right.
I imagine if RFK weren't in the picture, these people would probably vote for Stein, probably,
yeah,
because they were that disaffected. He gathers all this support, and then he goes, "Oh, vote for Trump because I'm going to be part of the Trump thing. I'm attached to the Trump thing. I'll keep Trump in line." That was kind of the vibe. I'll keep Trump in line, and we'll make America healthy again. Which I have a theory.
Or as Jimmy Dore does.
Yeah. I have a different theory about the whole Make America Healthy Again thing and what that actually is, but we'll talk about that maybe later. Gets all these people, and then they go, and he plugs them back into the machine. He plugs them back into the duopoly, the two-party system. They're like...
He's a sheep herder. Bah!
Yeah, same thing. He was literally Bernie Sanders. That's what he was. He was Bernie Sanders for MAGA.
Yep.
It was the exact same play. Let me get all these people who are disaffected.
Yep.
And then at the last moment, I'm going to point them in the direction I want them to go.
Yep.
Bernie did it where he got a bunch of disaffected people who were done with the Democrats, took them, plugged them back into the machine. And that's what RFK did. It was a brilliant psyop.
And I was telling everybody, including Jimmy Dore, this is why I was screaming at Jimmy Dore. And I love Jimmy. Don't get me wrong. I love Jimmy Dore. But him sitting there going, oh, well, at least they're talking about it. Yeah, they're talking about it, Jimmy, because they want votes. They are not going to do it. Because if they wanted to do it, they would have done it their first 4 years. Again, I go back to the story of what Whitney Webb talked about, or somebody said it. I don't remember who said it. But RFK Jr. told Trump during his first 4 years to have the vaccines investigated. By the way, get yours today. I know we're on YouTube.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He
get a
told him,
bunch
he said,
every day.
Trump, you need to investigate these vaccines. And Gates said, no, Trump, you don't want to do that. Guess who he listened to? Hint, it wasn't RFK Jr. He listened to Gates. He listened to Gates because he's a rich person. He's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. The establishment made him look like he was anti-establishment so they could get that village idiot back into the White House so they can distract people from the fact that literally the rich are going to do the Agenda 2030, which is you will own nothing, be happy, and eat sea bugs. I'm sorry, Angel.
It was, I'm not going to lie, it was brilliant. Brilliant. This whole thing was such a masterful psyop. And I watched it go down in real time, and I was sounding the alarm the whole time. I was like, guys, look over here. Guys,
over here.
You're not...
You fucked in the ass again.
This isn't what you are, like, you're ordering something. You think you're ordering something off Amazon. You're ordering it off Wish, okay? You're not getting the same product.
Right.
And there it is. You've got the whole... He got everybody just to plug back into the machine. It was so...
Yeah, I that was the other thing. Jimmy was doing that gold thing, and I looked some stuff up, and the guy that he talks to literally glossed over the fact that in 1934, literally the government made holding gold bars illegal. They made you put it back in. They made you hand in that gold. And if you didn't, guess what? You got fined or you got jailed. So what makes you think they wouldn't do it again? The guy goes, oh, they won't do that again. Oh, yeah, sure they won't. Sure they won't.
That was during the Depression. That was an FDR policy. But
yes.
But yeah, I mean, let's get
We're totally off track. I'm sorry, Angel.
Yeah. Oh no, it's
anyway,
fine.
Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, and Vince McMahon.
RFK Jr. Initially supposed to head up allegedly the HHS, the Health and Human Services Department, but it's like nope. Instead, you may be in the FDA. Maybe, right? We don't know.
Maybe you feel froggy enough.
Here's some data. Let us know what you think of this data so we can
smile. For already approved vaccines. Already approved.
They're going to thank him for... They're going to do the customer service thing where they're like, thank you for your feedback. We will pass this along to the appropriate channels. Your ticket has been
right
closed.
In the garbage.
Right in the toilet. It
goes right in the garbage.
It may end up on the president's desk, or it may end up somewhere in the White House. It's filed away, never to be heard from again.
Never to be seen again. It's like watching Unsolved Mysteries.
But yeah,
this person's been missing for 35 years, and they still can't find him.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if McMahon ends up being pardoned at some point in the next 4 years. Before
it
Trump
would not surprise me.
Yeah, but
it wouldn't surprise me.
Especially since Linda is heavily involved in the transition, and she's probably gonna be in the administration again. So, and
yeah,
the head of commerce or something.
Unfortunately, RFK will not be transitioning. Donald Trump will be transitioning. Katie Vance will also be transitioning.
Ugh. I hate that guy.
You need to.
He wants a war with China. Get out of here.
Vance is just. I know the reason why Vance picked him. That's a whole different conversation. I know. And
Peter Thiel?
Yep. Palantir, baby.
Oh, I was right.
But optically,
to control Trump. I think that was Whitney Webb too. That also said that the reason why he picked Vance is because Thiel said, hey, why don't you pick this guy? He's in my back pocket. And Trump was like, yes, I'll suck your dick, whatever. Trump wants back in office.
That's it. And the thing is, like, when you look up Peter Thiel and you look up Palantir, 3 guesses what country is using Palantir right now to, blow up a bunch of innocent people. Starts with an I.
Oh, well, we got to get off this subject. What's up now, Angel? Because I'm going to get mad and punch the wall.
What else you got?
We could talk about Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Raw I actually watched both.
Raw was from, it took place in Saudi Arabia again. So
yes. And Sami Zayn came out and started speaking. I'm like, I didn't know you knew Arabic.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think he's Syrian.
He's from Canada, right? He's from Snow Himbos.
He's Canadian. He's Montreal, but his parents are Syrian.
Get out!
So
I did not know that.
That's why he's able to. He's fluent in Arabic, but
get out. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they had more drama with the bloodline, or with the Usos in particular. More melodrama.
Yeah.
And Damian Priest, #1 contender for the world title again, which he's probably going to lose to Gunther at some point again.
How do you feel about that, Angel?
It's they had nobody else on Raw really to contend with Gunther right now. So
and they're not going to pull the trigger on Dominic, are they?
No, Dominic's a heel and Gunther's a heel. I don't think they want to do heel versus heel. They got to turn Gunther babyface because nobody wants to cheer Dominic right now. So that'll turn Gunther babyface. I don't think they have any desire of doing that. So
he's better as a heel, I would think.
That's not going to work. So you have Damian Priest being #1 contender. That's just fine. They'll probably the Survivor Series War Games. So by the way, that sets up the I'd be on SmackDown, but that sets up the War Games match between the Bloodline
because Sami Zayn came out and did this at the end, and then Roman is like looking at him like, dude. He's like, all right, fine. So he just sticks his hand up like this. I was
that was on SmackDown. They set up that 4-on-4. They set up
because he would not apologize to Jay. He would not apologize. He's like, why are you wasting my time? I was just like, oh, just say it, Roman. Jesus Christ. Get it over with. Just
he's gonna, he's going to go with it, but at first he has to act like the tribal chief of old. So yeah, I mean, then Liv Morgan they set up a #1 contenders battle royal at the beginning of the show, and Io Sky is #1 contender to Liv Morgan's championship, which means she'll lose again because they're waiting for Rhea Ripley to come back.
I hope she comes back fast. No offense. I love her makeup. It's phenomenal. It's just like there, and I'm like, I'm so jelly.
Yeah. So then on NXT was nothing but an ECW tribute show, which again, because they went to the old ECW arena to do the show.
Of course they did.
Which is still there, but it's called the 2300 Club now.
Oh.
And they remodeled it. Because that's not what I remember at all from the ECW arena. It was like a old, smelly bar, pretty much. You know what I mean? That's what the ECW arena was. And now it's like, oh, well, it's beautifully lit, and it's a gorgeous arena. It's like, what is this? Not the ECW arena. It's like, but yeah, I'm just reminiscing about ECW. But I've been there plenty of times. It's on a seedy part of Philadelphia, which at the time there were nice parts of Philadelphia. Now it's like the entire town is a piece of garbage. But at the time it was like on the seedy part of the town, so they were crackheads and stuff there right next to the ECW arena. But I digress. SmackDown was on Friday, and
we did not see the refrigerator. What's up with that? Is she just like gonna go back in her little hole and cry that she didn't win the Crown Jewel title?
I don't know, but yeah, they brought back a lot of old ECW legends. Bubba Ray Dudley was there. RVD was there.
That's why they were talking about it on X. I was like, I didn't watch NXT. I just saw Raw and SmackDown.
And a few other ECW originals were there too. It's like, whatever. Then SmackDown, they set up the Bloodline Civil War for War Games, which I told you is going to happen 6 months ago. But
yeah, well, I mean, but it was still kind of nice to see Sami Zayn and Jay and Jimmy and Roman all go out there and at least get the old Bloodline back. And then the announcers are like, "Oh, Bloodline versus new Bloodline." I'm like, okie dokie. Thank you for the enthusiasm. And I do, and you were going to bring this up. Do you want to bring this up now with Randy Orton?
Yeah, they did. Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, as everybody knows, didn't have a match at the pay-per-view, even though it was promoted as a match. But it was
just like a street brawl.
Yeah, last week.
Never really began.
But they continued that this week. Randy Orton came to the ring and basically demanded Kevin Owens come out so he can kick his ass again.
Yeah, he was I'm gonna kick your ass. He said something like shit, I think, and they bleeped it.
Yeah. He said shit or something like that. Kevin Owens came out. They fight again. Then Kevin Owens hits like a kick to the gut, and then then he sets up for a pile driver, a simple little pile driver, and Randy Orton sells it like death. The commentators sell like Kevin Owens tried to murder or delete Randy Orton, and the agents in the ring and the referees were like, "What the fuck did you just do? Are you out of your mind?" And it's a pile driver. And Michael
And
Cole
Randy
was
was
like,
selling it.
"Yeah,
I was telling you earlier, Angel, that I saw a wrestling account on X that was saying, "Oh well, Randy Orton's so weak. Anyone in AEW would have popped right back up." I'm like, then they aren't selling. The point of wrestling is
no."
selling and making people
hmm
believe that you're really hurt.
And Michael Cole was like, "Well, that move's been banned for a reason. It's Randy Orton's had all these back surgeries, and I mean, they were like." And then they replayed it. I think both commentators were like, "Don't replay that. That's devastating. It's brutal. I mean, we don't want to see that again." It's acting like you tried to delete Randy Orton live on television. I mean, that's
Right.
it's such a great job. Everybody did a great job there.
And I like how Cody came out and he sold
Yeah.
it. And he's like, I'm going to the hospital with him. And you could see if you looked at Kevin Owens' face, it's almost like he's kind of like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Like, did you see
Like,
his face?
yeah,
Like he was a
he
long
sold
lost
it.
puppy of it. Yeah, he really sold
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
So I think that this is going to be an interesting feud right here. Don't know how long it's going to be drug out. But I can at least see a little bit of it. And then, of course, I think when Owens is done with Randy, he's going to go with Cody. It's going to be, okay, fine. I'm going to get revenge on you now, Kevin Owens, and it's going to be on.
They may drag this out to WrestleMania because right now the holidays are coming up, and it's possible Randy Orton's going to get time off after that move, after the pile driver. He may not see him again to the Royal Rumble next year. So it's like,
yeah, you got to sell it.
it's same thing. Same thing in Rhea Ripley. Not going to see her again to the Royal Rumble, setting up to WrestleMania.
So do you think that maybe they might stick Cody in there and be like, all right, fine, I'll take in, Randy's gone, I'll take up for Randy.
Could be. Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the title again at Survivor Series. Wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
And then Saturday night's main events right after that in December. So
did you see his shirt said Kevin is right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what a play.
Yeah, so I love that segment. Now they're gonna get 6 months out of this. Because Kevin Owens is a crazy psychotic guy who dared give Randy Orton a pile driver, which again, I don't remember the last time I even saw a pile driver in WWE television. I mean, it's been banned. I mean, nobody can use it pretty much.
Oh,
so
really?
when the move actually got used, even the fans like, oh my god, they were like this. It's like, and it's a pile driver. I mean, it's like, other than the Undertaker, nobody uses pile drivers anymore in WWE. So it's like,
well, and his was a different version of the Tombstone.
It
pile
wasn't
driver.
what Kevin Owens used. Yeah, it was a Tombstone with a different version. But
I always felt like that was a safer pile driver.
It was,
because with the Tombstone, the person always like puts their arms around his waist, which always kind of looked a little kinky to me. But a little like, what are we doing here? This could go any way, really. But they can hold.
No.
You can hold on to. You can hold on to them, and then sometimes you'll notice like because they have their arms around his waist, sometimes they'll like adjust just to make sure like their head doesn't actually hit the mat. Because I've seen a couple pile drivers, you guys probably have too, a couple pile drivers that get botched and it like actually like seriously injures the person.
Well, there were some infamous one. Yeah, Austin. Yeah. Owen Hart broke Austin's neck.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he ribbed Austin. Owen was always known to be a big ribber. And I honestly don't think Owen did this out of malice. I think he just wasn't thinking. And he actually, how the Tombstone, the Undertaker always goes onto his knees.
Yeah.
Well, Owen went down to his butt.
Yeah.
And that's where Austin was like, it felt like, dong, like his bell got rung. And he was
Austin,
like, I don't know where I am right now.
Austin trusted Owen. Is like, you sure you want to sit down and do this? Oh yeah, I'm gonna sit down doing it. It's fine. It's like, okay, well, you're the Hart family, you're better workers than anybody. So it's like, okay, I trust you. And That's what happened,
Yeah, and that's what happened.
But
That's the other
ironically,
thing. That's the other thing too. Like with the tombstone, like you said, like he goes on his knees and like you never see the head actually hit the mat.
Right.
It's
No.
like a
You're
remarkably
supposed to
safe
take it
move.
on the back. Yeah. So when he lays you down, it's you land on your back. Mark would
Yeah.
never put anybody in that kind of danger.
Not even Hulk Hogan.
Not even Hogan. And
We know
Hogan
that
will say
story.
whatever he freaking wants to, but Hogan's a liar. So
Yeah, Hogan alleged the Undertaker hurt his neck doing the pile driver, and you could see it on the footage. Hogan's
never even
the
hit.
chair's here, and his head is like there. It's not even close. Never even.
Not
hit.
even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy
you
is
got
like,
me, brother.
It's crazy how like the people who are shitty in wrestling are like the worst people on it.
Oh, I know.
You look at Hogan's background, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, how are you a piece of shit on like 10 different levels, man?
Well, that's because Hogan was all about Hogan. Hogan only benefited Hogan. And if it didn't benefit Hogan, I mean, look what he did to Vern Gagne. Look what he did to Vince McMahon. Look what he would eventually do to Eric Bischoff. He would go where the money was, Snow, to be honest. And we can talk about that too. Yesterday, I think, didn't you show something, Angel, that oh god, Joy Reid was saying, oh, well, I blame Gen Xers for this, for Trump getting back in because, we're so used to Hulk Hogan and WWE, like that had something to do with anything. I said, first of all, Gen Xers they grew up actually with the territories. It was actually older millennials like me and some of the older, I would say some of the younger Gen Xers that actually grew up with Hulk Hogan and the WWE.
Yeah. Also, like if you're gonna attach anybody, if you're gonna attach any wrestler to like your political campaign, why would you pick the asshole that like everybody?
Because Hogan gets money. He got money because if we think about it, a few years ago, Hogan was making fun of Trump. He was actually making fun of Donald Trump. And now all of a sudden, money talks and bullshit walks. And now Hogan's like, they tried to kill my president. I'm like, no, they didn't. Hogan, stop it.
I mean, shit, do you guys remember all the stuff J.D. Vance used to say about Trump? And then he's like,
I mean,
I was wrong. I love him now. And it's like,
I want to suck his dick, that's exactly what Vance did,
He made me VP, so now I love the guy. What are you talking about? I said that in 2016. Well, I mean.
Opinions change. People change, I just got to suck his dick now.
He got me a deal with Maybelline.
It's like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris said Joe Biden was a racist. Remember, Kamala Harris said Joe Biden was a racist, and as soon as she got picked, it's like, it was the debate. It was the debate. What's the big deal?
It was a debate. We're supposed to talk about each other like that. I love Joe Biden.
That's the other fascinating thing about Joe Biden in general. Like, he's been around so long. Like, everybody knows this guy's a piece of shit. He's always been.
He's like the crypt keeper.
He's always been a objectively terrible human being. This guy had to drop out from running for president because he lied about like his whole everything. And then they just rehabilitated. They just rehabilitated his whole thing into being like this lovable grandpa guy who was with Obama, and he's like older and crazy, and his brain doesn't really work. And then they rehabilitate him again into being like this compassionate elder statesman. And I'm like, do you guys all have goldfish brain? Do you not realize this guy is objectively just a terrible person, and you can just go find this information in like 5 seconds?
Not to mention the creepy sniffing of girls' hairs, talking about kids all the time. I'm just like, that screams pedophile to me. That screams pedophile meaning.
I think they're all pedophiles.
Oh, I know. I agree.
All pedophiles.
All rich people are pedophiles. I totally agree with that. I had people make fun of me because of that. Like, not all rich people. Are you kidding me? I was like, oh, go fuck yourself.
It is insane how pretty much every politician is connected in some way to Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey E. Yep.
Nuts to me.
You're nearly all of them.
All of them. It's like, what are we doing here? Why is nobody? And I know why nobody's getting to the bottom of it, but like, at what point is someone going to drop something that just directly links all of these things together because we just keep getting these little teasers of like, oh, there's
Right.
the
Well, and
affiliation with
here's
Epstein.
the kicker. Here's the kicker that Elon Musk and Trump said, "Oh, we're going to release the Jeffrey Epstein or the Jeffrey E client list." I went, "No, you fucking ain't. Unless you take your fucking names off of those pages, boys.
Yep,
Come on, I ain't that stupid."
Both of them too.
Mhm.
Both of them. Both of them.
Yeah.
I had
Well,
some
I don't
people
know. They
on
might.
X vehemently say Musk is not a pedophile. What are you crazy? You need to see a head doctor. I'm like, I think you need to stop worshiping and sucking the dick of rich people who keep you enslaved.
Also, you know, it'd be really funny if they released the list, but there were just two like Sharpie.
Yeah, and that was Trump and Elon Musk.
Trump and Elon. They're like, here it is.
Here it is. We found it.
No, I could probably be like, this checks out to me, brother.
I don't think that's going to happen because again, there's other rich people on there that they also, suck the dick of. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry, Angel, go ahead.
Real quick, I just hope that maybe on the off chance they might release the JFK files because Trump did promise that in his first term and didn't do it.
Well,
and now
he did a little
bit.
bit. Like he released as much as he could and then said the rest of it was top secret. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's enough there that we could at least say that Oswald was not the killer.
No, but he's the president. He can release whatever he wants. He doesn't need the CIA's permission.
And I'm not sticking up for him. I hate fucking Trump. I hate fucking Biden.
No, I'm just saying he doesn't need their permission. Like
no,
the
you're
CIA
absolutely right.
Because
unless he needs their permission.
The thing too, though, is that like you gotta think about like class loyalty, right? All of these billionaires, regardless of what feuds they have, like they're always going to look out for themselves first. They will look out for workers second. They will all join forces to suppress any kind of working class movement. It doesn't matter how much they hate each other. Because they have that class loyalty. And the problem with us, the working class, is we don't have that class loyalty. Because we're divided into these stupid camps where it's like a blue team and a red team. And they're attacking each other instead of being like, hey, wait a minute.
And there's a lot of people who are sheeple right now who kiss the ass of Trump or kiss the ass of Harris, who literally will be shocked and surprised when they are the ones who literally own nothing, be happy, eat sea bugs, are on CBDCs, and literally have to get digital IDs. Well, guess what? I'm going to jail because I'm not going on your damn digital IDs, Trump. Go fuck yourself. Oops, I just knocked I knocked my microphone out, but that's what I think of the CBDCs and digital IDs.
And they're already up here in Canada, just because my theory is that Canada and Australia are kind of like the beta tests for a lot of things they want to do with America. The Canadian banks have already kind of been working on like CBDCs up here. They've already floated the idea of a digital ID. And even more so, they've already tested the actual implications of like having your finances linked to a central apparatus. Because if you remember, during the trucker protest, they just straight up just shut people's bank accounts.
Yes.
And so I'm willing to bet money that some people very high up on the food chain were monitoring that very closely, seeing like, okay, because it's the format, right? You have an uprising of people that are upset with the government. They're disrupting capital. They're looking at like, okay, let's test what we can do to shut this down. So if we just shut off all their bank accounts, will this work? And
it did. It worked very well. Those people were SOL. They literally could not buy food. They couldn't pay their bills. They couldn't get water, nothing. These people were like, well, and you don't even have to look that far. I mean, recently, with these hurricanes in South Carolina and then these chemical spill in Georgia, nobody's helping them. And I keep asking this one Trumper on Kids Chat, where's the $4 million that Trump raised for those hurricane people? Let me guess, he put it in his pocket, didn't it? Because he doesn't give a fuck about those people and the hurricane, because the rich told him there is lithium there and you will not interfere with those people. Those people are still suffering.
He's already, talking about we got to get all the oil, we got to sell more oil. We got to do more, he's completely like behind everything that the administration wants to do. And it's, or
just like he was for the first 4 years.
But,
I mean,
yeah,
what, like, I asked people, like, what do you think all of this shit in the Middle East is actually about? What do you think it's actually about? It's about oil. It always was about oil.
No. And he was
That's
dumb
the
enough to
end
say it
game.
out loud once
Mm-hmm.
on the Jimmy Dore show. Remember when Jimmy was talking about that?
Mhm.
I mean, I praised Jimmy up and down for that because, I mean, he said, I mean, he's not lying. For once, we have a politician who's not lying, but he didn't do anything about it other than we were there for the oil, but he didn't stop anything. He tried to get
the
war
oil.
with Iran.
We're there for the oil. We got to get the oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, and this is the brilliance of this psyop. He says something true like that, like, yeah, we're there for the oil. His base goes, oh yeah, we got to get the oil then, I guess. Like, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Like, that's why it's such a brilliant psyop. They're so convinced that he's on their side that, like, anything he says, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't compute in their brains. Yeah. It doesn't compute in their brains
it's a good thing.
They are worshiping their hero. It's called hero worship. And they literally have found in Donald Trump something that they think, oh, he's an outsider. He's not a politician. Honey, trust me, he's a politician. He said anything and everything. He was on every side of every position. And that's how he got elected the first time. Now, this is how he got elected the second time, because he brought in a psyop called RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, who were, oh, we love Tulsi Gabbard on the Democrats, even though she bent the knee to every single fucking Democrat ever. You know what I mean? And RFK Jr. too, he was running as a Democrat. Then Peter Dow and Jill Stein. This is why I don't like Jill Stein, because she stuck Peter Dow on RFK Jr., made him irrelevant, made Cornel West irrelevant. And then they became independents and they were on no ballots. So pretty much they were done. We already knew that. They were dead in the water. Once RFK Jr. stopped being a Democrat, and I'm not, I think maybe he should have gone to the Green Party. Maybe that would have helped him. I mean, because at least they're on some ballots. But again, RFK Jr., we already knew the writing was on the wall for him after Peter Dow made him not a Democrat anymore. Not that I don't think he should have ran, but I don't think he should have ran as a Democrat. But there's other people that he could have rallied around to help him get to the presidency.
Yeah, and to just quickly, I mean, for any Trump supporters watching, like, don't get me wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope I'm
Trump.
wrong too.
I hope he is. I hope he does beat the deep state and usher in peace and do all the things he wants to do.
Right.
I'm just arguing. I've seen this rerun.
Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this episode before.
Yeah, he's likely
this person pop up and say the establishment is the problem. It's the billionaires.
Oh God, it's the cuck.
Oh, he came back.
I'm sorry, like, that Bernie was the ultimate example of this.
Yes,
Same thing with Obama. Same thing with Obama. It's the same format. Hero person rises up, says the establishment's the problem. We got to change it up. Get behind me. I'm going to change things. Everybody gets behind him. Business as usual. And then they just throw that guy away. They go find another hero person. They pretend he's against the establishment. Because don't forget, guys, don't forget. A lot of people don't remember the tone. But Obama came under heavy criticism.
Yeah, he did.
The corporate press was against it. Like, there was the same, like, kind of kabuki theater where a lot of the status quo were being like, oh my God, this Obama guy, like, what does he think he's doing? Yep. And same thing with Bernie. Bernie took heavy heat too. It's always the same formula of, like, the whole machine sells you on this guy is not with us. And then you go, okay, well, I'm going to go the guy that's not with you because I want change. And then they get everybody together.
Open change,
You give you give them your consent. You give them the keys to the car and you go, drive this for me. And then they drive it right off a cliff. And then you're just mad at that person. Everybody's pissed off at, like, Obama and Bernie now. But it's like, then Trump comes and it's a new person and it's a new shiny object. And it's like, here's the new hero that's going to save the day and fix all your problems. And once Trump's gone, died after passionate sex with Joe Biden.
Oh God. I'm gonna go throw up now. Thanks, though.
once Trump's gone, they'll have a new hero. They'll have a new hero pop up and say all the same things. The system's corrupt. We got to find a new.
How much you want to bet it's RFK Jr. as a Republican?
I don't know if I can listen to his voice for 4 years.
Maybe
Yeah.
Tulsi.
Do it.
Tulsi, I'm betting.
Yeah, Tulsi as a Republican.
I don't think JD Vance
Tulsi.
is getting anywhere near that nomination in 28.
No.
I
So,
think
yeah.
maybe. I think by 28, maybe just Benjamin Netanyahu will probably be the president at that point.
You probably would win too. Trust me.
Yeah,
So,
they might just be like, "Listen, okay, we're tired of pretending. It just
run. Just go ahead. Yeah. I mean, you own our entire government anyway.
We just do everything for Israel. So just, here's the keys. Swear them in.
So I want to ask: has anyone checked on Mick Foley and Jesse Ventura to see if they're okay? Because these are people who endorsed Harris. There's someone else, Dave Bautista. Anyone checked on Dave Bautista lately?
Jesse Ventura had a really interesting arc because he had a conspiracy arc where he was like Alex Jones-ish. He was like talking to Alex Jones and all that.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember as governor what party was he an independent as governor?
Yes, he was. Yes. Yeah, he was independent.
Okay.
Mick Foley, when Trump was elected, all he put on Instagram was sad.
Sad.
That's the only time people heard from him.
No one has heard from. I haven't heard anything from Jim Cornette. Of course, he said he will be apologizing, or at least that's what he was joking about on the latest. But to be honest, what I think happened with Jesse is that something with Teresa, like they got him through Teresa, and they said you will endorse Tim Walz. Because Jesse would never have endorsed any of them. In fact, the last person he endorsed was not RFK Jr. Well, was Ron Paul, I think. That's the last person he endorsed, and really Ron Paul was just another sheep herder for the Republican Party. But I mean, Ron Paul was saying all the right things. They want to get, money out of politics, and they want to do this and they want to do that and clean up the world and get the homeless off the streets. So I think Jesse's heart's in the right place, but I just think that him going with Tim Walz it totally broke my heart. I was just like, oh, come on, Jesse.
Yeah,
Jesse, this is not your guy. This guy literally punished poor people in Minnesota. Said, oh, well, we got funding for K through 12 and we got funding for family leave. Yeah, by upping the school tax in Minnesota. I can only guess that that's what happened because Josh Shapiro did the same thing in PA. Our school taxes were over $600, Snow. $600, and we still had to provide my son with stuff so he could go to school with it. Pencils, paper. We still had to do all that shit. Poor people can't afford that shit. And yet the rich are laughing at us going, well, at least you got your K through 12. And you got your paid family leave. Yeah, but at what cost? Now none of us can afford food. We can't afford rent. We're homeless. We're homeless for fuck's sake.
This is the problem. I always go back to this central criticism. This is the problem with capitalism. Whenever you try to make a compromise for it, there's a counterbalance. The counterbalance always seems to cancel out whatever the compromise you're trying to do. Not to mention, whatever compromise the governments are going to try and do.
All right.
Listen, there's very powerful people in board meetings that are like reviewing profits every quarter, and they're going, okay, profits are down because the government did X, Y, and Z. What can we do to make the line go up? That's all they care about. That's the only thing in their heads because they have people higher up than them yelling at them to get this done, and they go, oh well, we'll just we'll lay off a bunch of people, or yeah, we'll switch a bunch of people to contract work so we don't have to really pay them benefits or anything. There's always a counterbalance. There's always another way. There's always another way you get fucked over under this system if you try and compromise with it. And that's because we live under a system where profit is always, it's going to come over human life. We know that with Gaza. It's going to come over your personal well-being. It's going to come over the well-being of the country. It's going to come over the well-being of the world. Profit is always going to be number one, which is why nothing is ever going to get better until we figure out a new fucking way.
And that's the thing. And about the lab monkeys, I think that's all bullshit. Because now they're going to say, oh no, monkeypox. Oh my God, everybody stay home. How about you go fuck yourself? I'm not staying home. I need to pay my bills, bitch. And I'm not going to stop going to work because your little monkeypox. Woo!
All right.
Go fuck yourselves.
Start
The
over to
the
platforms. We're gonna go there soon.
Okay.
A lot of
Everybody
the-
get going to Rumble, please.
Uh huh.
a lot of the virus stuff, I think it has everything to do with the food supply. I think
Yes.
I covered this, but a lot